What was the most successful prank you've ever pulled? My late husband was a weather nerd and loved inclement weather. One time I was home alone and a huge storm was imminent. I taped the weather warnings. A few days later it was a beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the sky. We were watching TV and as soon as he walked into the kitchen to fetch a beer, I started playing the warnings. It was so funny. He kept running outside to check the sky. I laughed so hard, and so did he when I fessed up. This is so cute, smile. I love this one. 1998 I was in 4th grade and got my hands on a universal remote watch. At the time it was super high-tech and nobody had heard of such a thing. I would sneakily turn the classroom TV on every 5 minutes. The teacher, who I despised, was convinced that ghosts were in the room. She unplugged it after the 3rd or 4th time. We told our tech illiterate teacher to hold the power cord higher so the energy would flow better. She complied. I did something similar with my teacher. I was sitting across the TV and turned it on and she kept turning it off, and eventually unplugged it. Then someone sitting next to the TV plugged it back in when she wasn't looking, and I turned it on again. She freaked out lol. My friends and I rearranged my college roommate's room and covered absolutely everything in tin foil. He was just getting back from a trip and rolled in with his suitcase. He is overly dramatic and thus a great victim. We were watching TV when he goes to his room and I hear "Oh my god." He huffs out and says the most dad comment ever, "Why would you do this? If this isn't cleaned up by the time I get back from work." He goes to work. We tinfoiled his suitcase. This is top-notch and not too time-consuming, as opposed to my all-time favorite, leaving a room with cups of water everywhere. I don't know if this counts as a prank, but my dad is a huge fan of the series Scrubs, and there's a gag where a character puts a pancake in the silverware drawer and this exchange happens. Why is there a pancake in the silverware drawer? You mean why is there silverware in the pancake drawer? So, just for laughs, I made pancakes and put one in our silverware drawer, waiting idly by in the kitchen for him to need a fork or something. I watch all idiocy, confused, takes the pancake out and asks what's a pancake doing in the silverware drawer. Without missing a beat, I say, you mean what is silverware doing in the pancake drawer? I didn't think it would actually work. He got a real kick out of that. A+ harmless prank, people get to eat pancakes. Scrubs, sharing a moment with your dad. Did you do the wahoo noise Turk does after that line? Cooking at school, different parts of the menu were prepared by different people. The girl tasked with the fruit salad was halving grapes when I passed her, so I commented that she wasn't peeling them. Were we supposed to do that? Of course. Didn't you listen? Asked the teacher. A long time later, I had already forgotten the matter, not expecting to be taken seriously. I heard our teacher yell, "Anita, what are you doing?" Poor girl was almost done peeling a pound of grapes. I was eating grapes at the school I worked at in Korea. A teacher walked in and said, "What are you doing?" "I'm eating grapes." "Without peeling them?" "Yup." Wow. That's so convenient. That poor girl. Peeling grapes is such a miserably tedious and fiddly thing to do. When I was 13 I told my mom my alarm stopped working and asked her to wake me up in the morning. So I stayed up until she went to bed and snuck downstairs. I took a jar of Vaseline and put the Vaseline on my doorknob and went to sleep. The next morning my mom woke me up by screaming, "What the fuck, who does something like that? You just gave me a wonderful idea." Not weird at all. Me and my girlfriend often put Vaseline on my knob if I have jaw ache. You remember the juicy fruit gum sticks? The ones with the wrapper? I would carefully open the gum and save the wrapper. Then I would carve a piece of soap to look like the gum, re-wrap it and give it to my sister. The kicker was that after she first put the gum in her mouth and discovered it was soap, I'd laugh and then offer her a real stick of gum as an apology. That second stick was also soap. She fell for it. That's a lot of dedication to make someone eat soap twice. Then you offer a third, she denies it, and that one is the real stick of gum. Told my sister that orange soda tastes better the more you shake it before opening, smiley face. The hilarity of this depends entirely on her age when the prank was pulled. I don't trust soda bottles to not explode when I open them, so I always open carefully to let off the pressure while still being able to reseal in an instant if the level starts rising quickly. One summer when my cousin was staying with us, he and I had a small prank war going on against one another. We decided to put our talents together and try to prank everyone else. We put small piles of flour on each blade of the ceiling fan in the living room. Just enough to not be seen from the ground. A few weeks went by and nothing happened and we had forgotten about it. And then, the day finally came. My mom had company over. I was in the kitchen and I heard all kinds of shouting/screaming coming from the living room. My cousin ran up to me grinning and said, "It's happening." The living room looked like it had just snowed inside. Everything was coated in a dusting of flour. My mother was screaming, her guests were staring in confusion and the dogs were running around in circles. It was so amazing, until we had to clean it all up. This was in about 5th grade. I was sitting by the door and saw that a kid sitting by the window was copying all my movements. I made sure he actually was by making some weird movements and sure enough he was. Then I noticed that behind his head, close to his shoulder was an open window. I got the idea and swung my head as hard and violently as I could to the side. Of course he did the same also with a lot of speed and slammed his head into the window super hard. He whimpered and went home early because he had a headache. I felt pretty bad, but now every time I remember it puts a grin on my face. Sorry Tom. Edit, for these of you wondering, swang is an actual word lol. I wanted to put swung there but I liked swang more, embarrassed smiley face. It's okay, the seizures eventually tapered off. Tom hurt himself in his confusion. Not really a prank, but when I was kid, there was this jet airplane at the park. It was fenced in without a gate. One night me and some friends climbed the fence and was climbing all over the plane. A cop car came with the light flashing. We were busted. The cop told us we were trespassing. We claimed, all in southern accents, that we didn't know it was off limits. Cop, why do you think they put a fence around it? Me with a straight face, so we couldn't fly it away. Cop just started laughing and let us go home. I was probably 10 to 11 and my mom had just made brownies, the soft, chewy kind. I was one of those kids that constantly played with my food, so I was squishing up brownies into bite-sized balls and quickly noticed that they looked strikingly like cat poop. So I fashioned them into cat turds and placed them in my sister's room to gross her out. She found them shortly after and started to freak out, then I casually walked in like, "Whoa, what's going on?" and proceeded to pick one up, eat it in front of her and comment on the nutty taste. I have never seen her more horrified in my life, but I felt like a true mastermind that day. My housemate was bringing a girl back to the house. They'd been talking for weeks and he was as excited as a toddler on Christmas about it. He went to meet her and then took her to dinner in town. Meanwhile I went into his room and set up some candles, scattered rose petals and then put some of the petals in the shape of a heart on the duvet. In the center I put a condom, some loo roll which had "in case your Valentine's is crappy" written on it, and a cheap engagement ring in an open velvet box I got off Amazon. I lit the candles, closed the door and ran into my room when they came into the drive. I've never seen someone so embarrassed in my life. What happened next? Lol, I can't even imagine how creeped out that girl initially must have been. Ever had chocolate covered Oreos? I made some at college once and brought some home for my sister. About a month later, I was home and made another batch, and left them at home for her when I went back to college. After making them, I replaced the majority with a chocolate-covered monstrosity, Ritz crackers, with tuna salad sandwiched between them, covered in chocolate. They looked just like the Oreos. She texted me angrily the next day. The first one she'd eaten was an Oreo, but the one after that was the chocolate tuna cracker. She hated me. It was great. When I was like 15 maybe or a bit younger, I hid under my brother's bed at night for 45 minutes, waiting for him to go to sleep, well knowing that he might masturbate whilst I am under his bed. Thank God he didn't, and when my moment of glory came, I reached out from under the bed and grabbed his leg like some kind of demon, crawled out and ran out of his room. He almost had a heart attack and beat me up quite a bit afterwards. XD, he said the part where I crawled out scared him even more. BC, I looked like some monster in the dark. XD, I still find this hilarious and I am proud. I did the same to my brother, but I slowly pushed his mattress up through the slats. LMFAO. Bro, calm down. I'm only pulling your leg. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.